Two airlines set off with the same dream: revolutionize air travel in the U.S. with low fares and unique amenities. But only one could really pivot and turn this challenging business model into lasting success. Southwest grew into America's clear budget champion, while JetBlue, with its shiny perks and premium touches, is still trying to steady itself. Today, we'll look back at the low-cost airline boom of the 1990s and 2000s and find out why these two airlines ended up on such different paths. By the end, you'll see why Southwest soared and JetBlue stumbled in the battle of low-cost war. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss more airline stories. When you look at the origins of Southwest and JetBlue, you can see just how differently these two challengers approached the American market. Southwest Airlines was born in 1967 in Dallas, Texas, with one idea in mind: keep it simple. Their model was built around flying a single type of aircraft, Boeing 737, which made maintenance cheaper, training easier, and operations smoother. They embraced quick turnarounds, fun onboard culture, and low fares that attracted passengers who just wanted a reliable and affordable way to fly point to point across the country. From the very beginning, Southwest's identity was crystal clear: cheap, consistent, and accessible. Fast forward to 1999, another competitor enters the scene. It's JetBlue with a very different promise. Instead of providing very basic for air travel, JetBlue wanted to stand out by offering comfort and flair while still keeping fares competitive. They flew Airbus aircraft, invested in extra legroom, and became the first U.S. airline to offer personal seatback TVs on every flight. From the busy runways of New York's JFK, JetBlue stepped into the spotlight with a bold promise: a budget airline that didn't feel cheap. It had one motto: low fares with a touch of comfort. Comfort that was enough to win over travelers who wanted more than just a seat on a plane. At the same time, America's skies were changing fast. People wanted affordable flights more than ever before. Two airlines rose to answer that call, but their styles couldn't have been more different. Southwest played the role of Texas rebel. Flight attendants told jokes, their zingers made people laugh, and the airline kept things simple: low fares, no fuss, just flying made easy. JetBlue, on the other hand, tried to look cool and modern. Its commercials showed big cities, sleek planes, and promised passengers that this was not your ordinary budget airline. Even their campaigns told the story. Southwest had its cheeky wanna-get-away ads, while JetBlue used smooth, stylish branding to show it was customer-focused. Two challengers, two visions, one built on keeping it simple, the other built on giving more. Just more enough to save passengers the label of being called a budget traveler. Now, the stage was set for two very different journeys across America's skies. When you compare the business models of Southwest and JetBlue, the differences explain almost everything about why one airline dominates while the other struggles. Southwest is stuck to a point-to-point route network, avoiding the traditional hub-and-spoke system. This means fewer bottlenecks, faster connections, and less dependence on big city hubs. It's a strategy that allows Southwest to operate nearly 4,000 flights a day with surprising reliability. Their single-type fleet, over 800 Boeing 737s, keeps maintenance and training costs low, and that consistency has been a key driver of profitability. Even in 2024, Southwest reported nearly $500 million in net income for Q4 alone, proving the model still works. JetBlue, on the other hand, took a hybrid approach. It wanted to be a low-cost carrier but also a premium airline. That's why it offers more legroom, free Wi-Fi, and the popular seatback TVs. The problem? Those perks come with higher costs. JetBlue flies a mixed fleet: Airbus A320s, A321s, newer A220s. Recently, they've stretched into transatlantic routes using the A321LR, aiming for London and Paris. But multiple aircraft types means more expensive pilot training, complex scheduling, and bigger maintenance bills. According to their 2024 earnings, JetBlue actually posted about a $44 million net loss in Q4 2024, GAAP, according to official filings. The contrast is crystal clear in financial performance. Southwest has been profitable for 47 of the last 50 years, something almost unheard of in the airline world. JetBlue, despite being beloved by passengers for comfort and perks, continues to wrestle with thin margins and losses. If you put the numbers side by side, Southwest's 800-plus aircraft generating steady cash flow versus JetBlue's 290 aircraft struggling to break even, you can see why one model scales and the other stumbles. It's a case of simplicity versus complexity, and in airlines, simplicity usually wins. When you look at growth and reliability, Southwest and JetBlue once again show why their paths diverge so sharply. Southwest built its empire not by fighting for crowded slots at New York or Los Angeles, but by targeting secondary airports. Think Chicago Midway instead of O'Hare, Dallas Love Field instead of DFW, Oakland instead of San Francisco. This strategy kept operating costs lower, reduced congestion, and gave Southwest loyal customer bases in cities where legacy carriers weren't as dominant. It also allowed the airline to scale steadily, adding routes only when it made sense, instead of chasing risky expansions. Another factor in Southwest's growth story is discipline. They famously avoided the merger craze that consumed the industry in the 2000s, with one exception, the smart purchase of AirTran in 2010. That deal added Atlanta to the map without disrupting Southwest culture or operations. By staying focused on its point-to-point network and 737-only fleet, Southwest built an airline that could grow reliably without the chaos of constant restructuring. JetBlue, by contrast, chased rapid growth and paid the price in reliability. The airline expanded quickly out of JFK, Boston, and Florida, but struggled when the network faced stress. The infamous 2007 Valentine's Day meltdown, when JetBlue canceled over 1,000 flights due to a snowstorm, became a case study in how not to handle disruptions. Planes and crews were stranded, passengers sat on tarmacs for hours, and JetBlue's reputation took years to recover. Even today, reliability remains a challenge. According to the US DOT, data shows JetBlue generally ranks among the worst major US carriers for on-time arrivals, while Southwest performs better on average. This reliability gap isn't just a statistic, it impacts customer trust. Business travelers and frequent flyers value predictability. Southwest has consistently delivered more of it. JetBlue, meanwhile, still battles scheduling headaches, weather sensitivities, and operational complexity tied to its multi-aircraft fleet. The contrast is clear. While Southwest grew methodically and maintained consistency, JetBlue's faster expansion left it vulnerable to breakdowns. In aviation, reputation can take decades to build, but only one storm to shatter. When it comes to mergers and big-picture strategy, Southwest and JetBlue couldn't have taken more different paths. Southwest has always been cautious, rarely chasing headline-making deals. The one exception came in 2010 when they purchased AirTran Airways for $1.4 billion. At the time, some analysts worried the merger might disrupt Southwest's famously simple playbook. The integration turned out to be a textbook success. By 2015, AirTran had been fully absorbed, giving Southwest a strong presence in Atlanta, one of the busiest airports in the world, plus new international routes to Mexico and the Caribbean. According to the Wall Street Journal, the deal not only boosted Southwest's network, but also cemented its place as the largest domestic carrier in the U.S. It was proof that when Southwest does pull the merger trigger, it does so with discipline and long-term value in mind. Now, contrast that with JetBlue. In 2022, JetBlue launched an aggressive bid to acquire Spirit Airlines, hoping to leapfrog into the ranks of the Big Four. Spirit's ultra-low-cost model and massive presence in Florida would have doubled JetBlue's size and given it crucial scale to compete with Delta, America, and United. The offer, valued at $3.8 billion, sparked months of negotiations and a bidding war with Frontier. Ultimately, JetBlue won Spirit's backing, but the real battle was with regulators. In early 2024, the U.S. Department of Justice blocked the merger, citing antitrust concerns. Attorney General Merrick Garland argued the deal would harm price-sensitive travelers by removing Spirit's rock-bottom fares from the market. CNBC and Bloomberg reported that the collapse of the merger left JetBlue not only smaller, but also saddled with legal costs and years of wasted focus. The impact was immediate. While Southwest continued expanding organically, JetBlue found itself in limbo, unable to compete with the giants, too complex and costly to thrive as a niche player. A Bloomberg intelligence report in mid-2024 noted that JetBlue had lost valuable time and resources chasing a merger that regulators were never likely to approve. Meanwhile, Southwest kept flying its steady course, reaping the rewards of a model that values focus over risky bets. Two airlines, two very different approaches. one merger that built momentum versus one that drained it. In aviation, those choices often define the winners and the laggards. If you're enjoying this, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It would really motivate us to produce more stories like this. If you really want to understand why Southwest continues to tower over JetBlue, just follow the money. Financial health is where the gap between the two airlines becomes impossible to ignore. Southwest is one of the few U.S. airlines that has managed to stay consistently profitable for most of its history. According to the Wall Street Journal, it's reported profits in 47 of the last 50 years, a staggering record in an industry notorious for bankruptcies and bailouts. Even heading into the pandemic, Southwest carried one of the strongest balance sheets in the sector, billions in cash reserves and relatively low debt. Those cushions mattered when COVID-19 grounded global aviation. By mid-2020, Southwest still had roughly $14 billion in liquidity, according to company filings, allowing it to weather the storm without taking on crushing debt like many of its rivals. Compare that with JetBlue. As a younger, smaller carrier, it never had the same financial strength to fall back on. The pandemic hit JetBlue hard. Net losses totaling more than $1.3 billion in 2020 alone, according to their annual report. The recovery has been bumpy ever since. While Southwest bounced back quickly, JetBlue struggled with high operating costs, integration expenses from attempted partnerships, and a mixed fleet that drains resources. By the end of 2023, JetBlue's debt-to-capital ratio was hovering around 56%, far higher than Southwest's 44%, according to Bloomberg Intelligence. That difference in leverage gives Southwest far more breathing room when times get tough. The most recent numbers paint the picture clearly. In Q4 of 2024, Southwest posted net income of about $498 million per its investor release. JetBlue, meanwhile, reported a net loss of roughly $153 million over the same period, according to its official earnings report. That means while Southwest was putting nearly $500 million in the bank in just 3 months, JetBlue was burning cash. Over the past 5 years, Southwest profits have fluctuated but remained positive overall. JetBlue has reported losses in 3 out of those 5 years. The lesson's simple: scale and discipline generate resilience. Southwest's conservative financial management and efficient model gave it a war chest to survive shocks. JetBlue's ambition, while admirable, has left it financially fragile, and in an industry where downturns are inevitable, that's a dangerous position to be in. Let's talk about how these two airlines feel from a passenger's perspective, because that's where the brands really diverge. Southwest built its identity on keeping things simple. No seat assignments, 2 free checked bags, and crews known for cracking jokes during safety demos. That lighthearted culture has been part of its DNA since the 1970s. According to the U.S. Department of Transportation, Southwest consistently ranks among the top carriers for baggage policies, helping families and budget travelers save an average of $60 round trip compared to competitors that charge for bags. Simplicity, plus perks like free flight changes, keeps customer loyalty high without frills. In J.D. Power's 2023 North America Airline Satisfaction Study, Southwest scored 827 out of 1,000 in the economy segment, above the industry average of 820. JetBlue took a different path. From day one in 1999, it promised a low-cost airline that doesn't feel cheap. We're talking live TV at every seat, free Wi-Fi, and complimentary snacks that go beyond peanuts. Its Mint class, essentially lie-flat business seats on select routes, earned it a spot in Travel Plus Leisure's list of best domestic airlines in 2023. Passengers clearly love it. JetBlue scored 849 in J.D. Power's ranking for the economy segment, one of the highest among low-cost carriers. In fact, Wallet Hub named it the best airline for in-flight experience in 2023. But here's the catch: all those perks come with higher cost. Operating Mint-equipped A321s, offering more legroom, and stocking premium snacks means JetBlue's cost per available seat mile, CASM, sits around 13.5 cents, compared to Southwest's leaner 12 cents. The gap may not sound big, but in an industry where margins are razor thin, it's massive. So the takeaway: JetBlue wins the passenger love contest. People rave about the TVs and snacks, but Southwest wins the economics game. And as any airline historian will tell you, warm cookies don't pay the fuel bills. Let's break it down. Southwest's dominance in the U.S. market isn't an accident. It's the result of scale, clarity, and decades of consistency. Start with the numbers. Southwest operates over 800 aircraft, almost entirely Boeing 737s, making it the largest operator of the type worldwide. In comparison, JetBlue has about 290 planes in service, split across Airbus A320s, A220s, A321LRs, and Embraers. That simplicity matters. Southwest saves millions annually on pilot training, spare parts, and maintenance. JetBlue wrestles with higher unit costs. Now think about network reach. Southwest runs roughly 4,000 flights every single day, covering more than 120 destinations. The Bureau of Transportation Statistics confirmed that in 2023, Southwest carried over 160 million passengers, making it the single largest domestic airline by market share, around 21% of all U.S. travelers. JetBlue? It's punching at about 39 million passengers a year, with a daily schedule closer to 1,000 flights. Big gap. This isn't just about size, it's about strategy. Southwest's model has been laser-focused since the 1970s. Point-to-point flying, secondary airports like Chicago Midway and Dallas Love, free checked bags, and a reliable no-frills promise. The airline has posted profits in 47 of the last 50 years, according to Wall Street Journal reporting. JetBlue, on the other hand, has spent years experimenting. Premium Mint cabins on transatlantic routes, Northeast alliance with American Airlines that was dismantled by a federal judge in 2023, and a failed $3.8 billion Spirit merger attempt in 2024. Each move added complexity without delivering scale. Passenger perception also tells the story. The 2024 J.D. Power survey ranked Southwest as the #1 low-cost carrier for customer satisfaction, thanks to reliability and value. JetBlue earned praise for comfort and onboard service, but ranked lower in overall dependability due to cancellations and delays. So, the bottom line? Southwest dominates because it knows exactly what it is: America's budget workhorse. JetBlue, meanwhile, is still trying to decide if it's a low-cost carrier, a premium boutique airline, or something in between, and that identity crisis keeps it stuck in the challenger lane. So what's the lesson here? In the U.S. airline game, consistency wins. Southwest built its empire on a simple playbook: one fleet, point-to-point flying, reliable service, and stuck to it for decades. JetBlue, on the other hand, tried to blend budget with premium. The lack of focus kept it from scaling into a true rival. Today, Southwest is the undisputed low-cost king of America, while JetBlue remains more of a niche challenger. But the big question is, what's next? Can JetBlue survive long-term with its hybrid model, or will it eventually get swallowed up or fade into the background? Time will tell. And hey, if you like this breakdown, make sure to hit like and subscribe. We've got plenty more airline stories coming your way.